Good morning, everyone. I see everyone piling in, so we'll get started in just a couple of seconds, give everyone a chance to come in and get settled.
Well, good afternoon, Amanda. Good afternoon, Anna.
Good afternoon, Brian. Okay, well, it looks like we've got a lot of people who've joined us. So hello and good afternoon. I'm Amanda Juliano with Juliano Law, class of LT 13, and the current chair of Leadership Tampa Alumni. These have been a difficult few weeks, and I want to thank everyone who has taken the time to join us for this webinar today. This is the first of two really exciting virtual events that we're going to have this month that we hope will give all of you the insider's view of different aspects of our community that the Leadership Tampa program is known for. So now I want to turn it over and introduce Anna Walrath, proud member of LTO4 and our current LT programs chair, to kick us off today.
Thank you, Amanda. And we are very excited to have Brian Ford with the Buccaneers. Brian is the COO of the Buccaneers and a longtime friend. So it's really a pleasure for me to be able to introduce you, and so proud of all that you've accomplished with the Buccaneers since you joined them back in 2006. And Brian oversees all aspects of the organization's day-to-day business operations, community involvement. He works directly with the team ownership to ensure that the Bucs fans, the season pass members, and corporate sponsors receive a first class experience, and I can vouch for that. So under Brian's leadership, the Bucs have consistently earned the top marks among NFL teams for customer service experience, ranking #1, go Bucs, in the league's annual Voice of the Fan report for 5 of the past 7 years. Brian recently completed oversight of a comprehensive multi-phase renovation of Ray J, expected to exceed over $160 million. The first phase was completed in 2014, and it was a redesign of the main level concession stands. The second phase was finished in 2016, and we have a brand new state-of-the-art HD video board, and actually there's one in each of the end zones in the towers, and then also in the corners. And the video display area is excess of 30,000 square feet. Is that right, Brian? Am I getting that correct?
Close to 40,000. Wow. Yes.
Okay. They're doing the most recent renovations include a complete renovation of the East Stadium Club, and we have a new sports bar in there called Bar 76. That was the Buccaneers' first year, if I'm not mistaken.
That is correct. Bar 76.
Okay, and so Brian oversees planning and construction of the new state-of-the-art indoor practice facility, which opened prior to the 2017 season. It's 100,000 square feet plus, and it's a full-size field turf playing surface inside the facility. So I can't wait to see that. So Brian, thank you so much for joining us, and take it away.
Yeah, well, thank you, Anna, and again, it's great to see you. And Amanda, thank you for your time and effort in putting this together. And thank you for everybody that's joined us today. I just want to start. Got a little program. I'm getting some backlash from the audio there. Is anybody else? Be good. All right, you want to go to the second page, Michelle? There you go. That's my opening. Thank you. So again, thank you all for this opportunity. And I want to state from the start that these are very crazy new times, and we are going to open it up for questions, but I'll state from the start, there's nobody that has all the answers at this point. And a lot of people are excited. Today's our first day back as an organization, back into the office in a phased approach. Coaches are going to join us in a limited capacity next week. But today was the first day that we opened up our doors and we invited a small in phase 1 of our employees back into the office. We have about 30 of our 200, and overall about 100 people total in these first couple phases. So it's been a lot of, the last 12 weeks have been exciting, both on and off the field, but today I am going to open it up to questions, but you're going to see that the presentation that I put together is more in tune to the community that we live in. Team Tampa, and each of us have been affected by the happenings both with the virus and what's happened recently in many different ways. And nobody can say that they experienced the same experience. And our number one priority, it's been very exciting, signing Tom Brady and Gronk and all the exciting things with our football team. And, a lot of people I bump into and I see and I interact with want to know, how sales and what's happening and what's the questions, what is the outlook for the Super Bowl and the outlook for the season. And right now, what we're doing as an organization is trying to be the best community partner that we can. City, with the county, for our employees. We didn't have any layoffs. We didn't put anybody on furlough. We're trying to stick with our employees, their families, and our community. And Michelle, if you want to go to the next slide, and we can skip over that ugly picture of me, but let's go to the next one. So during this time, our number one priority is just to be good community partners and to assist where we can with the essential employees or people that are on the front line, as well as just to listen to our employees and see what their needs and their families, and to educate and to try to go back. This whole bringing people back into the workforce, there's a lot of unknowns. There's a lot of, questions. And we're answering these questions as we develop answers. But our number one priority is the safety. People ask me about the season in Raymond James Stadium. We are committed, and we always have been, to work with the Tampa Sports Authority, the City of Tampa, Hillsborough County, to provide the safest environment possible for all fans of any event that attends any event at Raymond James Stadium, let alone a Buccaneer game. And we'll continue doing that. We do not know what those regulations are going to be. People want to know, are there going to be social distancing? Are we going to reduce the capacity? Is the season going to start on time? And all those questions, I don't have those answers right now. We are trying to work with local governmental agencies, both here in Tampa, as well as throughout the country, because we have 31 other teams that are across the nation. And we're taking direction from the league. Right now, we've stopped all visitation and anybody coming into our facility for the protection of our employees. And those of you that know me, you know that I love to have people down to $1 and host meetings like this that we're doing today here at $1. So we'll have to make up with that, Anna, and we'll have to do that in the future. Michelle, if you want to go on to the next slide.
Hi, this is Jim. In Tampa, we look out for our neighbors and take care of our own. That's why we need your help to help flatten the curve. By staying at home, you can protect yourself and prevent the spread of this deadly virus to our elders and vulnerable residents. For more information, visit tampagov.net.
All right, that was just one sample of one PSA, and I've done several. What I would love to talk about is what we've done, from a $100,000 donation to One Tampa, $100,000 donation from the Glazer family to St. Pete Fighting Chance Fund. And then we're really proud of 5 million meals that we worked with Feeding America to provide throughout our community. And that's really what has been important for us as an organization, as a Glazer family over the past 12 weeks. Next slide, Michelle. Yes, Tom Brady, talk about the most storied quarterback in NFL history, and he's now a Tampa Bay Buccaneer and a resident of Tampa. We are so excited about that. And there'll be plenty of time for me, and it's been a balancing act within our own organization, because as you know, it's been a long time since we've had this type of excitement on the field. But we just don't feel like it's the time for us to go out there and talk about these excitements when our neighbors and our families are going through what we're all going through. So next slide. We're very proud of our draft class, and we held a virtual draft with our partners with Miller Brewing. It was the first time that we ever did anything that remotely resembled that, and it was a huge success. In fact, it's something that we'll probably look at for upcoming training camp. And if we can't allow folks to the action, how can we do it from a virtual standpoint? We're all getting good with these Zoom meetings, some better than others, but our draft class, no players are back in the facility at this point. We're waiting for that direction. I believe that the rookies will be probably the first that are invited back, but we're still waiting for that direction to make sure that we have a safe environment for everybody involved. Next slide. The schedule. Everybody wants to know, is the season going to start on time? And again, we're going through with our planning, like the schedule that's presented you on that screen. What a schedule it is. You get a lot of old inter-division opponents that will be excited to have. And the Super Bowl winning Kansas City Chiefs will be coming here in week 12. But there's a big game against the Packers. We're going out to Vegas to play the Raiders, coached by our old head coach, John Gruden. And we're opening up in New Orleans against Drew Brees. Brady Brees. What's a better matchup that the league could put together than that? There's lots of primetime games. The game in week 16 is yet to be determined, so that could turn into a prime time depending on where Detroit and where we're at. And how about playing the Atlanta Falcons and our old head coach, Dirk Cutter, 2 of the last 3 weeks? So it's a very exciting schedule, and that's the schedule that we are planning that's going to take place this coming season. But again, with that, we want to be very sensitive, and we want to make sure that the environment that we have is utmost our number one priority and is safe from a fan's perspective as well as a player and a staff perspective. Next slide. Another exciting thing that took place that hopefully you all realized and saw was the changing of our uniforms. And we're so excited to get back to, it's a combination of our prior uniform and our original Super Bowl winning uniform. But, again, people want to know, and the next slide kind of shares with you some facts as far as how excited people were. And I've heard all sorts of rumors that you can't get uniforms. We're waiting for the day that we can open up our team store. You can switch the slide. There's some exciting facts there that were reported from our vendor. Michelle, you can switch to the next slide.
Allow me to show you the future. All that first time in the studio session. I was in the pop, that's a confession. Then God pushed me for the pro session. Hey, hold up, watching 116 videos. Try and rap just like mini whatever can't save my life. But he ain't really with the word hero. OMG, I believe what I can't see. I still got these memories when wasn't no kid trying to be like me. Yeah, so unreal. All you gon' see is the highlight reel. Believe if the hood got me out the hood, really I got no chill. Wait a minute, whoa, I don't even know my limits, whoa, and ain't no pretending, whoa, catching Z, finna get, whoa, long as I got bread, this is just beginning, whoa, this is where we separate, all the sheep, finna, allow me to show you the future.
So that was just a fun, exciting video that we tried to put together, and there are the facts on some of the impressions and what was out there. But I can tell you our players are excited. Tom Brady's excited. I love the pewter, all pewter look. Our old, all exclusive look was all red, and our alternative uniform rather, and this is going to be all pewter. So I can't wait to see that on the field, and we'll announce which games. But again, getting back to, what's really important, there'll be plenty of time for football. What we want to be right now is good community partners and try to get back and work with city and everyone to make sure that we're ready to be there in the fall when the football season starts. Michelle, if you want to slip to the next slide. Super Bowl 55, February 7th. We are so excited to host that. The league is going forward with full plans, working with Rob Higgins and his team over at the Tampa Sports Commission. That game is still slotted. We're excited. What adjustments will be made, we don't know, but we'll work with everyone to make sure that those adjustments are made, and the safest possible environment will be there on February 7th. Next slide. Earlier this week, we put this statement out, and I know that there may be some questions, and all I really want to say on the whole subject is that we are proud of what the commissioner put out. As far as a statement from a league standpoint, we're proud of our players. I'm very proud of our local players and the involvement that they've had. We started a social justice program several years ago to offer the players a platform for them to express their feelings. And it's been very, very well accepted by not only our players, but the local community. The Glazer family matched up $1 million donations to these causes, And what we're working as an organization now is how can we expand this program and expand it throughout our entire organization. And, we don't have all the answers. As a leader of this organization, there's a lot of questions that are out there. And, you know, as a 52-year-old white male, I can't say that my experience through the happenings of the past several weeks were the same as each and every one of our players or employees. But I will tell you that the Glazer family, myself, and our executive team are committed to trying to provide an environment for our entire organization and to be good partners in the community as we go through this. I'm very proud of the relationship that we have with local government, the sheriff, and the police chief, and we'll continue to do our part to make sure that we're all proud of the city that we live in and work in every day. All right. With that, Michelle, I think that that's the end of the program. And Anna, I guess we can open it up to some questions. And again, I know that that might not have been the presentation that everybody was hoping for, but at this point, my number one priority as the leader of this organization is to make sure that we're good partners in the community. Anna?
Amanda, can you open it up for discussion for the team, or do we have questions that we've already received?
Yes, we do have some questions. We have some, for those of you that are listening, please use the Q&A function. And I will go ahead and ask the first question, and then that'll give people time to ask their questions in there. But Brian, are there any current plans for social distancing measures during the games if fans will be allowed to attend?
Yeah, so again, we don't know what those requirements are at this point. But as I mentioned, we will continue to work with the Tampa Sports Authority, the city, the county, to make sure that we provide the safest environment possible at Raymond James Stadium, not only for our event, but all events. And we, there's a lot of speculation, and we're just waiting for, it's June 10th right now, and there's a lot that's going to happen in the next several weeks. So we'll just adjust and take those as they come.
Great. And so we do have some questions starting to come in. Akash Patel from our LT12 class is asking, can you talk about the recent donation made to Blake High School after their fire?
Yeah, no, that's a very unfortunate and just situation. And that's the type of things I'm very proud of Gronk and our entire roster and the Glazer family. They set they kind of lead by example. And that was just something that we heard about folks in need. And we just wanted to play our part as community partners to try to help them get back on their feet and be able to enjoy the game of football. Very proud of that. Hello, Akash, and thank you for that question.
Great, thank you. And then Chuck Tiernan would like to know, how can we help your community team weave together your work on social justice and workforce?
Just being good community partners and listening. And, I don't know what that answer is, what we can do as a community, but I'm very proud of the community that we all live in. And through the leaders and our police chief and our sheriff and the mayor, county commissioner, city council, we have an environment that everyone feels safe and can express themselves. And we just need to continue doing that and being sensitive and listen. I think as leaders in this community and any organization, we need to listen to see what the issues are and then, kind of respond accordingly. We can't list it because it's not, one.
Right. We did have a couple questions that came in when people registered. So another one of those is, what type of non-sport coaching or training do you do for your team, the players and the other employees?
What types of non-sport coaching? Leadership development on the business side, sensitivity training. We pride ourselves to make sure that everybody, perception is reality, as I like to say. And we want to make sure that everybody feels welcome and not threatened and able to express themselves as an individual and within the organization. Our players go through a vast amount of training on the football side. Number one, the first people that they meet when they walk in the door is our leaders on our community relations department, so they can find out. We're a small community. It's not a big city, and we want them to be proud of the community that they're a part of and lead by examples. So we try to find out what makes them who they are. Did they have a mother that was a teacher? Did they have a father that was a police officer or an uncle in the service? Do they know what MacDill Air Force Base is and what goes on at Central Command? Here's your new community. Who are you? And all players have Tuesdays off, and that's the day that we try to put them into the community. And an appearance is an appearance. And if we put a player into a situation that they don't know about or understand or don't feel comfortable, it's an appearance. But if we find out that that player grew up in the military and we bring them out to MacDill Air Force Base and they have an understanding and they look at them, the kids out there or the individuals out there, and they can relate to them, it's no longer an appearance, but they're part of something. So that type of training, and it's our responsibility to make sure that we set them up for success and we find out who they are. And, it's all about, these are ever-changing times. And every organization, everyone out there today in your organizations, we need to adapt, and we can't handle anything the way that we have. We have to listen to each other and to our employees, and we'll all be stronger and better community by doing so.
Great. And guys, don't be shy. Use the Q&A. Oh, I just saw one come in. All right, let's see. Bill Benner asks, can you speak to the excitement level of the team to have Brady and Gronk part of an already explosive offense?
No, it's very exciting. And a lot of people have asked me, you've got all this and you're not counting what sales are and you're not saying what's sold out and limited seats. And again, back to my opening, there's going to be plenty of time for us to tout the excitement on the field. Believe me, when you get the most historic celebrated quarterback in NFL history to lead your team, there's going to be excitement on the team. Coach Bruce Arians has mentioned that. Just we had the number one ranked passing offense in the past several years, but to add the people that we have, it's going to be an exciting football season. But we haven't really been out there and announcing that or saying that. And the reason for that is, we're very, very, very aware of the excitement that it's going to be, but it's just not the right time. We have to be community partners. We have to talk about those 5 million meals that we worked with Tampa, feeding Tampa Bay, and how our Vision Mobile is out there working with feeding Tampa Bay and trying to help our community. And that's really what we want to try to talk about these days, is how can we, and all of us, and how can we lead by example? We're very fortunate. The other sports franchises in the city with the Rays and the Lightning, we're all kind of combining efforts because we understand that sports are secondary at this stage, and we need to make sure that we're sensitive to what's happening in the community.
Brian, so about this time of the year, we would be planning a big luncheon with the Buccaneers for the chamber, and unfortunately, that's not going to happen right now. Are you guys planning any kind of a virtual meet and greet possibly with the players? And there's been, and before you answer that, Gronk and Brady and really all of the Bucs have really stepped up in the community to help, not just with the fire at the high school and the meals, but they have been actively out there participating, not just financially, but with their time, which is really appreciated. I'm sure people have a lot of questions that they would love to just pose to them. Do you think that might be a possibility to have a virtual program with them?
Right now we're waiting for the league, and thank you, Anna. Thank you for recognizing that. And we are hoping to have that lunch with the chamber. I've spoken with everyone, and we're just waiting for the dates and the times to kind of work themselves out. And we want to make sure that we can have an environment that would welcome all. So I'm not giving up that chamber lunch yet. That's the kickoff of our season, and it's one of my favorite events. And we're going to have that, in some fashion at some point. Maybe it's not the kickoff, maybe it's later in the season. But, and as far as a virtual, get together with our players just to kind of meet. Right now, everybody's just waiting to do what is needed to start this season. The league this past Sunday announced that coaches could come back. As I mentioned, our coaching staff is coming back on Monday for a short period of time. And right now, we're trying to understand what the protocol is going to be to have our players come back in full capacity. And then we'll know what their schedules are. And then we'll know, everybody's spread all out right now. And, it's not easily put together to have a virtual lunch. But believe me, all those players are eager. Our coaching staff is eager. I'm eager to, at the right time, to kind of celebrate football and come back. But we want to be sensitive until that time. And when it's the right time, we'll all know it, and we'll put something together for sure.
Thank you. Amanda, any other questions come up?
Yeah, they are starting to roll in. So here we go. We'll start at the top. This one is from an anonymous attendee. That's what it says. During the shift to social distancing and adapting to all the changes and unknowns of the future, what are some of the things you were most proud of from the Bucs organization and team?
No, I'm just proud. I'm proud of the leadership that the Glazer family has provided and the backdrop and the support that they've given each and every one of our employees. And, the 5 million meals that we provided as a family and as an organization to Feeding Tampa Bay, and just getting involved in the community at the right time. We struggled with, what to do. And then it was quite evident that was the biggest need. And talking with the people at Feeding Tampa Bay, it's remarkable what they're doing and the number of people that they're reaching. And I'm just proud of the way that we're kind of putting football aside. There'll be plenty of time for that. Right now, we need to concentrate as a community and being good partners in the community. That's what I'm most proud of.
Great. And Liz Harmon from LTO 5. A lot of people in our community are hurting financially post the quarantine. What will the Bucs be doing to help make attending games more affordable?
Well, that's a great question. And we're working with our partners at Legends Hospitality to try to come up with what is the plan from a food and beverage and from a retail standpoint. And, just trying to make sure that, because I'm hoping that Raymond James Stadium is going to be packed with Buccaneer fans. And that's what we're planning on. We're going to be able to host an event with 100% capacity. And how can we provide food and beverage experience that is going to be able to service the crowds, yet offer the selection and trying to package items, and being sensitive to where folks are. We're working with all of our partners, all of our season pass members in terms of their payments on a case-by-case basis. And we're just trying to be sensitive to what their needs are. And we're listening. And I opened with that, and I'll close with that. We need to be good listeners to find out, because there's not a silver bullet that affects everyone on this call or everyone in the community. And we're trying to hold true to that. We want to listen on a case-by-case basis. How can we help fans? And we appreciate the support. I've gone on record many times saying that we have the best fans in the NFL. And we do. This is a sports town, and people have stuck by us, and we're going to continue to stick by them during these times.
Great. And Paul Huzar would like to say, great moves all around, and thanks for what you're doing in the community. You also give us optimism for how we're going to emerge out of all of this mess. So who are we going to play or host in the Super Bowl?
There you go. Well, Derek Brooks told me a long time ago that this is Super Bowl 55, so there's magic associated with it. And I've been quoted in one on record that we want to be the first team in history, and that's never happened before. So the first team in history to ever play in a Super Bowl in their own venue. And we're hoping that the magic's going to be there, and we're looking forward to it. So I don't care who we play. I just want to represent the National Football, the NFC conference, and be a part of Super Bowl 55.
And Paul follows up with, how awesome would that be? And I think he speaks for all of us. That would be fantastic to have. Sean Butler also echoes he appreciates your time and the Buccaneers management and ownership's commitment to the community, and can't wait for the season to begin.
Thank you, Paul. Thank you all.
And then a question from one of our newer LTA members, Gata Scaff, asks, do you expect more players to kneel on the field during the national anthem? Have you addressed this with the players? And do you expect the coaches will also kneel?
You know, at this point, you know, I brought up our social justice program that we introduced, and we were the first team to actually introduce such a program. And we worked with the leaders on our football team, both players and coaches, in developing that plan. And we gave them a platform for them to express what was important to them. And it went, there was a variety. We worked with the Tampa Police Department, the Hillsborough County Sheriff, the Mayor's Office, a number of different programs, and it was quite successful. And the Glazer family matched $1 million of proceeds that went into that program. And what we're trying to do now is how can we listen? How can we expand on that program? I don't have an answer for you today on what tomorrow is going to bring. I don't think anybody does. And anybody that says they do, I don't think that they're accurate. We will continue to work with our players and with our staff, as well as the community, to try to give people a platform for them to express themselves in a politically correct manner.
And Brian, I know Anna read part of your bio to us earlier, but since we are a leadership organization, can you tell us a little bit about your leadership journey, what brought you to the position you're in today, and maybe any tips you have for, I think we have some of our younger members on here as well who are, you know, somewhat starting their journey, or for those that are going to watch the video later.
No, absolutely. I started out graduate of Florida State University, married my high school sweetheart, and out of college I got into contract food and beverage, which is probably the last thing that anybody would think that somebody in my position would start out as. But it's the hospitality business, and that's really what we're in. We can't control what happens on the field, but from a game day experience, and you know, Anna, one of the things that she mentioned in my introduction that I'm probably most proud of is our ability to be ranked #1 in overall customer satisfaction. You know, even during the tough times, during the tough years, 6 of the last 8 years, we've been ranked #1. And that I credit the Glazer family, because they provide us the resources and they want to be #1 on and off the field. So my background coming to Tampa, I came to Tampa back in 1998 in that role. And 14 years ago, the Glazers gave me an unbelievable opportunity to join their staff in the role that I'm in. And I haven't looked back. It's all about the people. My leadership style is one where you need to listen, and you need to put the right people in the right positions, provide them the resources and objectives that you want to achieve, and then hold people accountable, but also be realistic in what those expectations are. And whether the resources are people or equipment or technology, just listening and always trying to surround yourself with folks that know more than you do in their roles. And if you can combine a team like that, what a team we have. And I'm very proud of the executive team that we have within the Buccaneers. And we have the best in sports. And I'm, grateful for the opportunity to work with all of them on a daily basis. And that's really, it comes down to people and listening. And, this is fun. This is what I do. I have the best job in Tampa. It's not the Glazers Buccaneers or Brian Ford's Buccaneers, but it's Tampa communities, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And we're just excited, and I can't wait to start this season. And in whatever fashion that it needs to be started in, we'll abide and we'll provide a safe environment. And I just want to be there on February 7th when the whistle kicks off at Raymond James Stadium, when we represent the NFC as the representative for Super Bowl 55.
Anna, you're muted.
Yeah, I just realized that's sorry. That's one of the things with the Zoom. Someone came and brought me coffee, and I was trying to get them. So I was like, "You want to be on the seminar too?" So I'm wearing my
Yes.
advisory board T-shirt. I was never on it. Obviously, I'm way too old for that, but both of my kids did, and it was a wonderful experience for them to act as ambassadors. And I don't think that program's around anymore. Have you guys considered, doing something with the young kids in the community, given all the stuff that's going on? Maybe letting them see what you guys do and what a great organization it is, and foster that relationship.
Yep. You can't do everything, and any organization that tries to, you don't succeed in something.
And I think
that was a great program. But what we actually created was an associate program that we actually try to attract recent college graduates with their undergraduate degree to the table, and either provide them more experience before they go on for their graduate degree, or just to get into the workforce. And it's a 26-week paid position. And we do a lot in the summer, normally during training camp and on game day with high school kids. But our real program that we started, we transitioned to about 6 years ago, is this associate program. And I tell you, we probably have about 30 people that are among our 250 employees that came from the ranks of this program. And I can look throughout all of sports and tell you probably another 150 kids that came through our program. And it's a great program. It starts starts in July, right after the 4th of July week, and it runs right through the season. And then the second phase for another group starts in February and goes through the off season. And that's the focus we've been trying to do, and it's been quite successful. But I do remember the high school program that your kids went through, and we have a similar program on game day. We employ about 60 or more "how can I help you" staff members, and a lot of those are high school kids.
Mm-hmm.
And we give them a specific area to help our fans that are entering or leaving or interacting at Raymond James Stadium. That's a great program as well. And all this can be found on Buccaneers.com in our community and outreach tab. And if you have any other questions on that, don't hesitate to call me, and I can connect you with the right people. But it's a great both of those.
I think I still have some of my Buccaneers swag back here on my wall of sports memorabilia. So.
I love your backdrop. Yes, you are and a good friend, and thank you again for this opportunity.
Oh, thank you. Amanda, anybody else that
we have one more question that was submitted before the seminar began, so I will read that, but I also want to encourage, we still have some time, so don't be shy, LTA members. I know you're not, so put your questions into the chat box, or if you have my cell phone number, text it to me, I'll ask it. And but one of the last question that we had gotten early on with the registration was, how could the team model for our country that diversity works?
Because obviously your staff has got to be one of the most diverse workplaces around.
Absolutely. So repeat the question.
How could the team model for our country that diversity works?
Well, I think every day. I mean, I'll lean on Coach Bruce Arians. I mean, he is just a phenomenal individual, and he brings up the best in everyone, regardless of your sex, gender. We have 2 female coaches. I also would point out the Glazers. I mean, since they've purchased the franchise back in 1995, they've had 3 Afro-American head coaches, one of which is Tony Dungy, who's still a resident here in Tampa and in the National Football Hall of Fame. And he was struggling with getting the opportunity to be a head coach. And he led us and is a dear friend and still a member of this community. So how can we lead? Again, we want to be a part of this community, and it's ever changing. And I guess listen and adapt and try to be good listeners. And, the police chief and the sheriff and the mayor and the city council and county commissioner, they're all going through some tough times because everybody wants to do the right thing. There's nobody in this community that doesn't. And we're led by great individuals. And as a sports franchise, we want to stick to what we do, but at the same time, we want to be good partners within the community. So that's how I would be a model.
Great. And we have
And we
a couple
want
more.
those players to stick around once their playing careers are over.
Absolutely. You know, like the Derek Brooks and the Rondé Barbers and the Mike Allscotts, and absolutely.
Yeah, be great community partners, and they have been. So Brett Azzarelli, LT96, has asked, as Anna kind of touched on early on, the improvements and renovations we've seen recently at Raymond James stadiums have been great. Are there any other changes or modifications we may see upon our return to Raymond James Stadium in the fall or in preparation for the Super Bowl?
You know, we're trying to work with the league to every year that they have a Super Bowl, there's experiences that they experience, you know, all of the top venues at this point. But they try to learn from any of the challenges that they had. And Wi-Fi was a big one down in Miami, and they did a great job. Miami did a great job with the Super Bowl, but, you know, there was some things that they did we wanted to enhance. So you'll notice when you come back to all events at Raymond James Stadium this year that there'll be improved Wi-Fi in the parking lots. There's going to be cameras in the parking lot from a safety standpoint. And there's also some Intel cameras that we installed at the end of last season that will provide the folks that are attending the games some additional 5K views. So, you know, we can't you know, change your environment at your couch at home, but we can provide the backdrop for excitement if you come out to the stadium. And these enhanced cameras and views, it's going to be better than what you can see on TV. So I encourage everybody to come out and see that.
I'm attending a webinar tomorrow, and the speakers include Eric Hart, who's the Sports Authority head, and of course Rob Higgins, but also Jose Sotolongo, who was the kind of Rob Higgins counterpart down in Miami last year for their Super Bowl. Is there anything in particular you think we should ask them? You know, what's the one thing that you think maybe they could teach us from last year?
Well, I mean, Miami is, you know, I'm very proud of the state of Florida. And, you know, after we have our Super Bowl, there's some facts out there that you can ask Rob, but, you know, we've moved into third place of hosting Super Bowls the most, but as a state, we've hosted the most. And, you know, every year there's adjustments in the times, and, you know, they didn't have to deal with an epidemic last year that we're going to deal with this year, and social distancing. So it's just coming together as a community. Miami did a great job as a community with their community partners in Miami Beach and you know, South Dade County as well as Broward County. And, you know, the model is there to provide the volunteers to interact. And this year, you know, we're going to have to really be at the top of our game to try to alleviate people's concerns, not only from a safety standpoint, but with this epidemic and, you know, where it takes us come February of next year. So, you know, really the questions are, you know, what did they enjoy, and how can they represent their community? And I will tell you, you know, our traffic will not be what their traffic was, and I'm proud of that. But you never want to point out somebody else's shortfalls as your benefit. So I think they did a great job, and we're just excited to be hosts, and we're excited about that. And you'll hear that from Eric tomorrow and Rob Higgins. They both do a great job. And again, it takes everybody. It takes Team Tampa to pull off these events and to attract these events to come back. You know, we were all very disappointed that WrestleMania wasn't able to experience Raymond James Stadium. It was scheduled right when this all hit. But, you know, I again point out in your opening and when you presented my bio, you talked about the improvements. And a lot of people don't realize that, you know, $160 million went into Raymond James Stadium and out of the Glazers. And they have that commitment to this community to try to bring big events to our community, as well as to provide the backdrop at Raymond James Stadium for all fans and Buccaneer fans to make it the best ever. And those improvements help us get these big events, and also provides the backdrop that we all, you know, we have the best venue in the NFL, And, you know, we're entering our 23rd season at Raymond James Stadium. And I'm awful proud of, you know, what that venue and the job that the Tampa Sports Authority does running it, and the job that everybody maintains it. And, but without the investment from the Glazer family, you know, we would have a 1998 stadium. So we're excited. And again, February 7th, Super Bowl 55. We just want to be that participating team.
We've got a couple final questions that are rolling in. Bob Hyde from Suncoast Credit Union has asked if you can talk about the Bucks Foundation and its primary causes.
You know, the Bucks Foundation is something we started out with our Vision Mobile and the Glazers' vision. And a lot of people don't realize that that was an initiative that they wanted to start in the memory of their father. All of the Glazers, there's 6 siblings, they all wear glasses. And that foundation started out with that Vision Mobile, and now it's taken steps. And you know, we have a girls flag football program and junior Bucks program, and it's all about the kids. We have our women's platform and our movement Red, and that foundation provides a lot of resources to this community, and we're awful excited about that. And again, all of these this information can be shown on our website at buccaneers.com, and we're excited about what we do in this community. Again, getting back to during this horrible time, we're proud of the efforts of everybody that was on the front line, and you know, we're just proud of the way that Tampa responded, and we're excited that we could be a part of it.
Amanda, you have anybody else pop up?
You know, I had one just quickly, and it made me think about it when you were talking, Brian, is, you know, the Bucks were one of the first teams to hire female coaches.
Yes.
So how has that been? And
not one, but two.
2 of them, I know. I mean, it was very, we talked about it amongst us at LTA and whatnot. And I think that's, you know, especially now seeing, we had Katie Sowers now with the San Francisco 49ers, and seeing how do you see that evolving and growing more throughout the NFL?
Absolutely. And, you know, as an organization, as a family, Glazer family, our organization, Coach Bruce Arians, Jason Light, our general manager, we want to put the best people possible. And that's the roster, that's the players, as well as the leaders on and off the field in our marketing department. We don't look at race or color, sexual orientation, gender. We look to hire the best individual possible for all jobs. And, you know, do I see that growing? Absolutely. There are plenty of qualified female in the coaching ranks. And we're proud to have 2 of the best. And we gave them that opportunity. And I tell you, we are better for it. And we're excited about what the future holds.
That's awesome. Well, last call for questions, but while people are doing that, I mean, I don't want to call out Susie Holly, but Susie Holly started to type something and it didn't finish. Ah, there we go. Okay.
There we go. Hello, Susie. How are you?
So Susie just wanted to set forth a statement of pride in you and the Buccaneers for all you've done in the Tampa Bay community. Thank you for all you and your staff do whenever we call to ask. Best wishes to you and the Bucks in this 2020-2021 season.
Well, thank you, Susie, and it's a pleasure, and I just can't wait until we can all see each other in person and, you know, get back to whatever the new normal is going to be, and then I can start talking about football. Right now, let's stick together as a community, and let's get through this, and let's be Team Tampa on and off the field.
And I'm going to ask this last question that came in from Chris Carlo, because it was one in the back of my mind. I think it's a really important one talking about the Super Bowl. What steps are the Bucks taking to help address potential human trafficking that tends to accompany large events like the Super Bowl?
You know, the Super Bowl is actually an event that the NFL comes in and kind of controls and puts forth. And I can tell you the efforts that they put forth in Miami and Phoenix and Atlanta and the prior Super Bowls is second to none. And it's growing. It's ever changing. And they'll continue to do that. And as an organization, we work with the league. We'll work with the local authorities as well as federal authorities. And we are very proud of the community that we live in. that situation or any other, we want to make sure that the backdrop that we provide is the best that it can be. And as community leaders, we'll all, give an experience that people will remember, so everybody wants to come back to Tampa. We value that, and that's why we're proud to be on that stage, and we can't wait for February to be there. We just hope that we're one of the participating teams.
Brian, one of the most fun things about being a Super Bowl host city is the NFL experience that accompanies all of the
Yes.
hoopla. And it's something that allows people who can't necessarily afford a ticket to the game a chance to participate. Can you maybe give us a little hint of what you guys had planned? One of our big things downtown is the Riverwalk, and the whole system that was used for the national championship game that was here for a few years ago was so much fun. Have you guys thought about possibly doing something, or is the NFL thinking maybe that's a good spot for them to do this?
Yeah, no, Anna, thank you, because that is the backdrop. And when you're on that call tomorrow with Rob Higgins, he can expand on this. But we're not only going to mirror what you experienced and what our fans and what our community saw at the national championship game, but we're expanding that. And that's the footprint for the whole Super Bowl district. And it's going to really bring Tampa to light. And, I have the fortunate opportunity to go and see a lot of the past Super Bowls. And what I'm going to be most proud of is how condensed Tampa is. And you don't need to get in a car and travel 3 hours to get to another event and miss events because you can't get to them. It's a very condensed backdrop, and what a backdrop it is. And Rob will be coming out with more of that, but that's exactly what the plan is, and the league is excited about it, and the host committee is excited about it, and we can't wait to unveil that and get it going.
Thank you.
That's great. Well,
Amanda, anybody else?
I don't see anything else. I do know that I think Michelle has a little poll she'd like to put out to our members there. Since we talked about the uniforms earlier, it's a poll question about the uniform. So while Michelle is going to get that ready to go, let's see. Oh, there it is. It just popped up.
Well, I love it. I love the red, and I love the pewter, and I love the white. So you guys tell me. But we're excited.
We have a poll.
Yes.
All right, LTA. Let your voice be heard.
All right. Well, again,
and I guess the black is the pewter.
That's correct. That's correct. But again, Anna, Michelle, Amanda, and everyone on the call, I just thank you again for the opportunity to come out and talk. I hope I didn't disappoint anybody and not be able to go into a lot of things. I do appreciate the opportunity, and I thank you all for what you do for our community. And again, we're just proud to be here, and we're looking forward to the day that we can get back to the new normal and cheer on. But today let's be safe, and let's be sensitive to each other, and we'll be better and stronger for this as we get through it. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Anna, you want to close this out?
Well, I want to thank everybody for joining us today, especially Brian, and thanks for giving us an insider's view of the Bucs' upcoming season. As you can tell from the questions, we've got a pretty excited group here. So our next meeting for programs, another virtual meeting, but we're actually going to tour the Midtown construction site on June 23rd. I believe we have it scheduled for 4 p.m. And it's actually going to be led by two LTA grads, both class of 02, Fred Hames with Bar and Bar Construction, and Robin Bishop with Cushman & Wakefield. So, and then last but not least, hopefully you've heard about our book club that you can sign up. We've got 3 sessions, and you can attend one, you can attend all, and thank you to Chris for agreeing to help us with that. And the book that we are going to be reading is The Ride of a Lifetime, Lessons Learned from 15 Years as CEO of the Walt Disney Company. And I called him Robert Iger. My son said, Mom, It's Bob. Just accept it. The man is known as Bob. So I've already started reading it, and I know Amanda's got her copy, and we
I
look
started
forward to
reading it too.
discussing with you guys that in July.
It's a great book.
It's riveting.
You're
Yeah,
gonna-
yeah.
It pulls you in right from the prologue.
So again, Brian, thank you. It does. Oh my gosh, yes. I will say that too.
Yeah.
So don't forget to sign up for the next event. And Brian, you are always welcome to come back and be a part of this group anytime you're available. We love hearing from you, and thank you for all your informative tidbits today. So
Well, thank you. I look forward to the day where we can host you all in person.
Definitely. And Michelle's going to share
we'll
the poll
take you up on that.
And before we leave, Michelle is going to go ahead and share those poll results for us.
There you go. The pewter wins. There you go. And I like them all, so I like that. I wish that was there. Very good. Well, thank you all again. Everyone have a great afternoon and stay safe.